All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please repeat. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayam udirayet Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu Nityam bhagavat sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Krishnaya vasudevaya Devaki nandanaya cha Nanda gopakumaraya Govindaya namo namaha Hare Krishna. So we had a break. Last week we had a whole program. So you can see my screen. Okay. So today we will be studying third canto, chapter number 33. This is actually the concluding chapter in this canto, third canto. So thank you very much to all of you for your association that we are able to at least do 3 cantos. There is still a long way to go, but yeah. So the chapter is titled Activities of Kapila. And also it is titled by another Acharya, Devhuti ko Tattva Gyan evam Moksha Pad ki Prapti. Mother Devhuti realized, she got self-realization and then liberation of Mother Devhuti. This is also titled, but Activities of Bhagavan Kapila is what Srila Prabhupada has titled the chapter. So this is chapter number 33, and we started from chapter 25, we started this. Then this is a concluding chapter, as I said. So far Bhagavan Kapil Dev has spoken about Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, which the chapter 28 also titled Ashtanga Yoga, liberation of living entities who wants to follow the path of Ashtanga Yoga to be liberated. Then who wants to be liberated by following the Jnana Yoga. But ultimately, everything culminates into Bhakti Yoga. And Bhagavan also spoke about the sinful activities of a materialistic person. And then what happens to that sinful person unto his death. After he dies, what happens to him? Where he's taken. And then after that, living entity gets purified, then the birth. Then he takes birth in the womb. What happens in the womb? And then after he stays in the womb, then he comes out. And then how he's entangled in the fruitive activities, but he's performing those activities as per the scriptural injunction. Then what happens to him? What is their gati like? But ultimately, towards the end of every chapter, Bhagavan is telling that Bhakti Yoga, devotion service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only. Now, after speaking about this, now Bhagavan Kapil Dev, like I said, so last chapter was entanglement of a infruitive activity. So everything Bhagavan has delineated. You can take this path, it will happen, this to this happen. Very clearly defined and explained. And now Bhagavan Kapil Dev, after answering, he was obviously responding to the questions from his mother. Like an inquisitive living entity, we also have questions. We also get fed up of the situations. But in any of these questions and answers, Bhagavan hasn't spoken about escapism. Bhagavan hasn't at all spoken about escapism. As in the earlier canto, he said that whether you want moksha, whether you want your desires to be fulfilled, whatever you want. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajetat purusha param. Whatever you want. Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajetat purusha param. So that tivra bhakti yoga, you whatever you desire, you worship that and then get that. So here now Bhagavan has spoken and he's about to leave, go and so in this chapter, concluding chapter, so let's read this verse and then we will discuss further. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Tameva dhyayati devam.
Tameva dhyayati devam.
Tameva dhyayati devam.
Tameva dhyayati devam.
Apatyam kapilam harim.
Apatyam kapilam harim.
Apatyam kapilam harim.
Apatyam kapilam harim.
Babhuva achirto vatsa.
Bahuva chirito vatsa.
Babhuva achirto vatsa.
Bahuva chirito vatsa.
Nisprihata drishe grihe.
Nisprihata vishe.
Nisprihata drishe grihe.
Nisprihata vishe.
Okay. Word by word translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. Tam, upon him. Eva, certainly. Dhyayati, meditating. Devam, divine. Apatyam, son. Kapilam, Lord Kapil. Harim, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Babhuva, became. Achirat, very soon. Vats, oh dear Vidur. Nispriha, unattached. Tadrishe grihe, to such a home. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. O Vidur, thus always meditating upon her son, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapil Dev, she very soon became unattached to her nicely decorated home. So what Maitreji is telling Vidurji, this is one of the things that we have to get detached from the things that we so nicely cherish, feel attached to, feel belong to. घर जाना है, कितना मैं घर आ रहा हूँ, मैं घर से जा रहा हूँ. So many times we say घर. Think of it. Sometimes sit quietly and think about it. We get so much attached to that house, to that ghar. It is very difficult for the soul After, if you are so attached, when the soul is leaving the body, that is why there are these 13 days, people reading Garud Puran every day, Bhagavad Gita. Soul is still there. Soul does not leave because we are so attached. Body and then the house. So around that area, very difficult. So Tadrishe Grihe. So here they're talking about, because Bhagwan Shri Kardamuni, he had built that aerial mansion. It had so many opulences, and we will hear. Even the demigods, they were envied of that house. Such a opulent house with all the facilities. And she became completely detached from that house by concentrating dhyayati, by thinking about her son. Achirat, without any delay. So that's the context behind this verse. But we will discuss more when we come to, maybe one Prabhuji and one Mataji recite this verse. Let's recite this verse thinking that we also have to leave our bodies and maybe not be attached to this place at all. Right? We are under the shelter of Shri Radha Parthasarthi Bhagavan. Let's recite the verse, please. Please. With a mood that, like how Mother Devhuti got detached, my dear Lord, may I also be detached. Please do it.
Tamev dhyayati devam.
Tameva dhyayati devam.
Patyam kapilam harim.
Apatyam kapilam harim.
Bhuva chirato vatsa.
Babhuva chirato vatsa.
Nispraha tadrishe grihi.
Nispriha tadrishe grihe. Mataji. Tameva dhyayati devam. Apatyam kapilam harim. Babhuva chirato vatsa. Nispriha tadrishe grihe. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki. Please hear. Here is a practical example of how one can elevate oneself in spiritual advancement by Krishna consciousness. Kapil Dev is Krishna, and he appeared as the son of Devhuti. After Kapil Dev left home, Devhuti was absorbed in the thought of him, and thus she was always Krishna conscious. Her constant situation in Krishna consciousness enabled her to be detached from earth and home. Unless we are able to transfer our attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no possibility of becoming freed from material attachment. Right? It is very important. We all like to serve, we are all attached, we all like to love, we all have that tendency. But the only point is, it is fixed at a wrong place. We just have to change the direction. Now, no other adjustment required. Instead of attaching to this, we have to attach to the Supreme Lord. That's all. And that's all going to happen through this process. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here. We have to transfer our attachment. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam therefore confirms that it is not possible for one to become liberated by cultivation of empirical philosophical speculation. Why this? Why this happening? What is this happening? Just speculative knowledge, trying to analyze our own thoughts. Sometimes people analyze why this thought is coming, why am I dreaming, why these dreams are coming. All that will not lead us anywhere if you sit and think about it. Even if the impersonalist reaches the highest platform of spiritual realization, he falls down again to material attachment because of not being situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So that is the next level. Being there, but being engaged in service, doing something. After some time we get bored very easily, right? Even if you put into a mansion, you think, what do I do now? So that service, some kind of service we have to be. The devotees adopt the devotional process, hearing about the Supreme Lord's pastimes and glorifying his activities, and thereby always remembering his beautiful eternal form. By rendering service, becoming his friend or his servant, and offering him everything that one possesses, one is able to enter into the kingdom of God, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Tato mam tatvato gnatva. Vishate tad anantaram. In the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna is saying, Bhaktya mam abhi jana. Only by bhakti you can know me, Arjun. And then by knowing me tattva, vishate tad anantaram, they can enter into my kingdom. After discharging pure devotional service, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in fact, and thus one becomes eligible to enter into his association in one of the spiritual planets. Srila Bhaktivedanta purports ki, let's do Mangala Charan and then we will discuss further. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanyam Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitan Tam Sajivam Savadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhuter mahadbhir yaima puro vibho nirmayashete yadmosha purusha bhukte gunansho dasasho dashatmakam solank srishta bhagavan vachamsi me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satat Pibatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvalok Rishi Deva Janma Prasannam Sarvalok Rishi Deva Janma Prasannam. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. May the Supreme Lord please decorate my tongue. May the right words come at the right time. May we are truly able to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Serve Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, and all the living entities. Gaur Premanande Hari. So Prabhujis and Matajis, let me share my screen. So Hare Krishna, Lata Mataji, Vijay Prabhu, and who's got iPhone? Is it Harinder Prabhu? Okay. Hare Krishna, Harinder Prabhu ji. If that's you. Slide show. So the chapter is titled Activities of Kapil, Bhagwan Kapil. In this, so initially Mother Devhuti now offers prayers. She glorifies the Supreme Lord after hearing from the Supreme Lord, when the Supreme Lord, Kapil, Bhagwan Kapil, had answered her questions. So Mata Devhuti start offering her prayers. And Maitreya Rishi tells Vidurji that Mother Devhuti, after hearing, Evam nishamya kapilasya vacho janetri sakardamasya daita किल देवहूति विस्रस्तमोहपटला तमभिप्रणम्य तुष्टावतत्त्वविषयाङ्कित सिद्धिभूमे. So Maitreya Rishi is telling Vidurji that evam nishamya, like this, after hearing from Kapilasya, from Bhagwan Kapil Dev. Yeah. What hearing? Hearing the questions, hearing the answers to her questions. And who? Sa Devahuti, Kardamasya Daita, the dear wife of Kardam Rishi, right? Mother Devahuti, after hearing the answers to her questions from Bhagwan Kapil Dev, what happened? Visrasta moh patala. Visrasta. Srast means fell off. Moh patala. The curtain of illusion fell off. It's a very important word. That's what I'm using. Is we in Damodar month we sing that verse. Swamatu Swingatraya Visrasta Kavarasraja. Visrasta. Visrasta means the flowers which were decorating, cover as in hairs, right? Sraja which were decorating the hairs of Mother Yashoda, they fell off. They automatically fell off. When she's running after Krishna, the flowers fell off. Right? So like this, the moh, the curtain of illusion fell off. She didn't have to do any endeavor. You understand the point? She was running after Krishna and things fell off. She didn't have to stop and throw it away. Now you go away. Now this illusion go away. Now this attachment go away. It fell off. We thrust, right? Automatically fell off. So this is what happens. When we are on the devotional mark, when we are in the bhakti yoga, it fell off. You don't have to make extra endeavor. Right? So like this, that's what Maitreya is saying to Vidurji. We srust the moha patala. The illusion, the curtain of illusion fell off after hearing the answer or the instructions of Bhagavan Kapil Dev. And then tam abhi pranamya. Then she wanted to offer her prayers for what? To stop for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, who was sitting there. You see, he's sitting there. Who is sitting right there to stop, right? And what was the basis of her illusion falling off? Or what was the background of instruction of Bhagavan Kapil Dev? Tattva Vishayankita Siddhi Bhumi. Tattva Vishayankita, right? The religious principles. Based on the religious principles, Bhagavan Kapil Dev spoke. And in the background of those discussions, listening to those points, hearing carefully, then her illusion of curtain of illusion automatically fell off. We hear sometime these days, we hear that father and son, they talk about, oh, we both went to the pub and we had this conversation. Today, people talk about these things with great pride, right? You see sometimes, this is the culture today. So here is a conversation between mother and son. But sometimes we, father and son, today's society, we very proudly say, oh, me and my dad had a drink. We went there and we sat together, we went to a pub. But here, mother and son having a conversation. Isn't it? Think of it. But this is the state of affairs in Kali. What will happen? You know, when you go and having a drink and this, we are bringing our level down and down. Whereas the, conversation between father and son of that nature, here mother and son are talking. So like this, Mother Devhuti, after hearing, she started offering prayers. And now she knows, she's looking at the Bhagavan and she's saying, my dear Lord, you are here. And now she started thinking. She's saying, I'm so fortunate that I can see my dear Lord face to face. She said, Lord Brahma, who is born from you, Jatharabj Jata. Jathar and Abj and Jata. Abj as in lotus. From the lotus coming out of your navel, from where Brahmaji born, but even Brahma cannot see you. He has to meditate upon you. The Dev Swayam Jatharabj Jata. Even though he is born from your lotus navel, my dear Lord, Brahmaji has to meditate upon you. And still he cannot see you. Can he see? Brahmaji does not get direct darshan of the Supreme Lord. He only hears. He only hears the instructions. Think of it. You are born from someone and you cannot see them. And Brahma is called Aja, unborn. Because he is born from, he is called unborn. He does not take a material birth. She is in a state of amazement of the Supreme Lord. Brahmaji, who is born from your lotus navel, he can't see you, my dear Lord. Even though he is called unborn. And then this whole universe. Sa eva vishwasya. This whole universe, my dear Lord, was in your belly. Lord is sitting there. See, look at this picture. Lord is sitting there. Mother is offering prayers to her son, telling him, Sa eva vishwasya. Right? This whole universe, my dear Lord. Yeah. Bhavan dhatte. You are the creator of this universe. Bhavan is in you. My dear Lord, you are the creator of this whole universe. And you create this universe, vibhakt virya. You don't have to do anything. You just spread your various energies. Through your energies, you just create this universe. Yeah. And Atmeshwara, you are the controller of this. And Sahastra Shakti. You vibhakt virya, you separate your energies and you have thousands of energies. Sahastra Shakti. Avatarkaya. This is inconceivable. My dear Lord, this is inconceivable to me. You created this universe through your energies. But still you are not attached to this. And that Brahma, who is born from your belly, he cannot see you. He has to meditate upon you. But that Supreme Lord, you appeared from my belly. Satvam bhrito me jatharena natha. Satvam, that same Lord, my dear Lord, bhrito me, you appeared from my belly. Katham nuyasyo dar etadasi Vishwam yugante vatapatra eka. Shete smamaya shishu angripana. See? So what she is saying is that, my dear Lord, that supreme, that same Satvam, sitting there, that supreme Lord, from whose lotus navel, this is how we sometimes take things lightly, but when you go in front of the Lord, what are you going to say to him? You have to offer some prayers to him. Enough of prayers, enough of Bhagwan, ye kast mita do, ye kast mita do, take this, finish this misery, enough of those prayers. Now go in front of him. Think like that. My dear Lord, you have appeared. My dear Lord, you have given us this place to come and glorify you. My dear Lord, Laddu Gopalji, you have come from Vrindavan. Like this, all those thoughts. And then we build that connection. So the Lord is sitting there and she's saying, my dear Lord, you have appeared from my Jatarena Natha. Right? Katham nu yasyodar etadasit vishwam. In whose udar all this universe is there. All the universes come from you. But you have appeared from my udar. And Yugante, at the end of the millennium, right? What do you do? Vatapatra eka. On one banyan tree leaf. Right? What he is doing? Shete. You are lying down on a banyan tree leaf. And what are you doing? As a shishu, as a newborn child, and you are sucking the toe of your foot. Yeah. Manasasmaram. What is that? Karar vinde napadar vindam. Please sing. Karar vinde napadar vindam. Mukhar vinde viniyeshantam. Mukhar vinde viniyeshantam. Vatasya patra sapute shayanam. Govinda damo dharmadhaveti. So karar vindena padar vindam. By your lotus hand, kara arvindena. Padar vindam. You are holding your lotus foot. And then mukhar vinde, in the lotus mouth. Viniveshayantam. Viniveshayantam. Actually, Nivesha, you put inside your Nivesh kar dena. Right? And then he is lying on a Vatasya patrasya puteshayana. On a leaf of banyan tree, you are lying down. And that Govinda Damodar Madhav. Right? So this is what Mother Devuti is recalling, that my dear Lord, this is amazing. You appeared from my belly. Now here Acharyas also said there are two things to take away. One is, they say, why is Supreme Lord lying on a lotus leaf? They say Bhagavan is showing this Leela and he's telling them, for the people who are too much attached to having children, to have a son, to have children, for them Krishna is saying, I'm there for you. You can have me, you can worship me as your child. And even at the end of the millennium, if everything goes away, I will be there. Markandeya Rishi did not see anything, but he could see that Laddu Gopal. So that is why Laddu Gopal is there.
I have a greeting for you.
You have Laddu Gopal, yes.
The same leaf.
Jai,
Same
Jai.
leaf.
Very nice. Very nice. All glories. So that's one. Now, second point is, why is Krishna sucking his toe? Think about. Why is he sucking his toe? So Acharya says, Krishna thinks, what is it that I have? Why is everybody attracted to my lotus feet? And if everybody is attracted to my lotus feet, and if everybody is offering their bhoga to my lotus feet, I want to tell them that I will personally lift my foot with my hand and I will suck it. In a way, I will accept your offerings and I will personally taste them. Because everybody is attracted to his feet, he is sucking his toe. See? So that's what the Supreme Lord is showing. So Mother Devhuti is remembering that. Yeah? That, my dear Lord, Sa Tvam Jatrena Nath, my dear Lord, you appeared from my womb. Now the next question is, my dear Lord, why do you appear? Why do you accept this body? Then she answers that question. Tvam deha tantra prashamaya papmana nidesh bhajam cha vibho vibhutaye yathavatarās tava sukaradaya tatha ayampi atmapathoplabdhaye. Now, why do you appear? So she's saying, my dear Lord, you appear. Deh tantra. You take a body. This is called deh and tantra, because there is a machine inside. You accept this body, you appear in this body, my dear Lord, prashamaya papmana, to punish the sinful living entities. And nidesh bhajam cha vibho vibhutaye. Oh my dear Lord, oh Vibhu, you appear, accept this body to give instructions to the sinful people, because they are relying on you only. Only you can bring them on the right path. And you give them the proper instructions to bring them back. Nidesha bhajam vibho vibhutaye. And to do that, my dear Lord, to do that, vibhutaye, you expand yourself. How you expand yourself? Yatha avataras tav, in various incarnations. Sukaradayas, starting from Sukaravatar. Because the very first incarnation, the Supreme Lord brought Mother Earth out of the depth of the ocean. So Sukaradayas, and then you take various incarnations, right, to give instructions to the sinful people. Because, my dear Lord, they are dependent on you only. Only you can uplift them. Similarly, Tatha avataras ayam api, your this incarnation also, Atma pathopalabdhaye. What is the path of the soul? How a soul, how a living entity can become self-realized. Similarly, my dear Lord, you have taken this incarnation. Yeah. See how this is how she's glorifying. Even if you recite these prayers sitting in front of the Lord, that could become our prayer too. But we have to have some prayers. Right? And Bhagavatam has so many prayers. And then, my dear Lord, you have taken, and then she goes on to say, okay, if someone, they are not able to see you, then she talks about the glories of the holy name. Yannamadheya Shravananu Kirtanat. Yannamadheya Shravananu Kirtanat. So she says, my dear Lord, Yannamadheya, by reciting your name, by thinking of your name, right? Shravan, by hearing your name, by Anu Kirtanat, by kirtaning, by chanting your holy name, Anu Shravan, again and again. Prahavarnad, by offering prayers to you, right? Smaranad, by remembering you. Api kvachit swapachopi sadya savanaya kalpate. She says, my dear Lord, even if somebody is born in a dog-eater family, Shwado api, or if somebody is a dog-eater, right, born in that family, right? By the way, the lowest, my Guru Maharaj explains, the lowest living entity is categorized who are dog-eaters. They are the lowest. Right? And if somebody is hurting a cow and doing cow slaughtering and beef eater, etc., they don't even have any grading. They are below that grade. There is no grading for that, if that makes any sense to you. So the lowest is Shwapacha, dog eaters. There is no grading. So what to, there is no place for them, for those people. You don't know where they will go, what will happen. Only God knows. Anyway, so here Mata Devhuti is saying, Shwa Pachopi Sadya Savnaya Kalpate. My dear Lord, Yan Nam, just by chanting your holy name, just by chanting your holy name, hearing your holy name, offering prayers to you, remembering you, somebody who is born in a dog-eater family, they become eligible to perform Savanaya, to perform the yagna. Just by chanting your name. They don't even have to go through all the Brahmanical process. So such is the potency of a holy name. Right? And then what to speak of people who can actually take direct darshan of you. Kutah punaste भगवन्नु दर्शनाथ. फिर उनका तो क्या कहना जो भगवान आपका डायरेक्ट दर्शन कर लेते हैं. Just by chanting the holy name once, they become eligible to perform the sacrificial ceremonies. What to speak of people who have taken direct darshan. She's again realizing her position, her great fortune, having had the direct darshan of the Supreme Lord. And then she goes on to glorify those people who are chanting. And she says, my dear Lord, these people, these dog eaters, Aho bata swa pacho ad gariya. Yeah, she says, my dear Lord, Aho, these dog eaters, they are so glorious. Gariyan, they become eligible to be glorified. Those dog eaters. Now, in this verse, what Mother Devhuti is going to clarify is that if somebody is chanting the holy name, they must have done something, some great activities in their past life. Otherwise, they cannot chant your holy name. You sitting here, son, and you chanting the holy name, you must have done some great activities in your previous life. And then she goes on to list what they all could have done. Aho bata swa pachoto gariyan. They are so glorious, they need to be glorified because they have done everything. And like what they have done, they must have performed the sacrificial ceremonies in their previous life. Right? Juhuvu, Susnu, Arya. Right? They must have performed sacrificial ceremonies in their previous life. They must have taken bath in all the holy places. And they must have been Arya. Right? Arya means civilized people. They must have done all of that, my dear God. Right? And then Tepu Tapaste. They must have performed great austerities in their previous life. Because Yat Jivvagre Bhagavan Nam Vartate Nam Tubhyam. Tubhyam, right in front of him who is sitting there. No one else. She is telling Bhagavan Kapil Dev. Yat Jivvagre Vartate Nam Tubhyam. Oh my dear Lord, those dog eaters are born in the dog eaters family. They are so glorious. They become so glorious or to be glorified. Because on the tip of their tongue, always there, your name is there. Nama Tubhyam. Why? Because Tepu Tapaste, they must have performed great austerities. They must have juhuvu, they must have performed sacrificial ceremony. Susno Aryan, they must have taken bath in all the holy rivers, in all the holy places. Right? Otherwise, it's not easy to chant your name. Oh my dear Lord, such is the glory of chanting of your holy name. And then finally he concludes her prayer. She says, my dear Lord, Tam Tvam Aham Brahma Pumansam. Right? Oh my dear Lord, you that Supreme Lord, Brahma, you are the Supreme Param Pumansam, you are the great Supreme Personality. Right? Pratyag Atmani. Right? Samvibhavyam. Right? Pratyag Atmani. By controlling our senses, you are the one who needs to be meditated upon. Right? By controlling our senses, you are the one who is to be meditated upon. Tam Tvam Aham. I bow down to you, my dear Supreme Lord. Right? Swatejasa Dhvasta Guna Pravaham. By your tej, by the instructions, by the power of your instructions, by your vision, Guna Pravaham, the material modes which were running inside me, which were troubling me, my dear, Dhvasta, aapne unko dhvasta kar diya. You have finished them. Dhvast, you understand? Demolished. Demolished is the right word. You have demolished. Right? Like Gajendra, when Gajendra was praying to the Supreme Lord, Gajendra is saying that, my dear Lord, these senses, these material modes, right? Their impact is so powerful. Their impact is so powerful that it is very hard to control. But because of you, because of your mercy, right, we are able to control. Right? Kad indriyanam, these senses which are blunted because of all the material entanglement. But when you come, so like this Mother Devhuti is saying that dhvast tejasa guna pravaham vande vishnum kapilam vedagarbha. Now she concludes her prayer that, my dear Lord, one day you are the Vishnu, you are Bhagavan Kapil, you are Vishnu, and one day I offer my prayers to you, my dear Lord. Vedagarbham, the Vedas have come from you only. Or at the time of devastation, the Vedas, all the Vedic knowledge, they go inside you. I offer my obeisances to you. Now, in the first 8 verses, Mother Devhuti had offered her prayers to the Supreme Lord. And now Lord Kapila, Bhagavan Kapil, gave his final instructions to Mother Devhuti, and he is leaving. So Maitreji tells Vidurji that Bhagavan Kapil was satisfied by hearing her mother's prayers, and because he was very much attached to his mother. Matri, Mataram Matri Vatsala, right? As he was dear to his mother was also very dear to him, right? Matri Vatsala. He left that place by giving final instructions to his mother. Now, even if there was any doubt in her mother's mind, so he is telling his mother that, my dear mother, Suseven, right? Suseven param kastam achirat. Right? Without any delay, my dear mother, these instructions that I've given you, they are very easy to follow. And without any delay, without any time, param kastam, you will be able to achieve the supreme abode. Right? Avarot sasi, aruroho and avaroho. Avaroho means going upwards. So he's saying to her, Avarot sasi, my dear mother, you will be able to achieve that highest goal of life by just following these instructions. And like this, Bhagavan Kapil Dev glorified, spoke to his mother. And then he also told her that Shraddhastva, by full faith, my dear mother, he again adding, by full faith, right? Etan, these instructions, Mahyam, these instructions, if you follow with full faith, right, then you will be able to abhayam mam yaya. You will be able to come back to me without any fear. Otherwise, People who don't follow these instructions, who don't have faith in these instructions, for them also he is leaving an instruction. He is saying, Mrityum richanti atatvidat. They will attain mrityu atadvidat. People who don't know this or people who don't believe in this, my dear mother, they will fall prey to the mrityu. Mrityu means what? Life, death, old age, and disease. Like this cycle. But if you follow these instructions, susevena, these are very easy to follow. Shraddhastav, Shraddha, with full faith. Right? And then you will be able to come back to me. Abhayam, you will become fearless. Yeah. Like this Bhagwan Kapil Dev. And then he took permission from his mother and he left. Now, in the next set of verses, Maitreyi is telling about how Mother Devhuti achieved perfection. Right? After Bhagwan Kapil Dev left, then Mother Devhuti, she started performing intense practice. Yeah. Says she started taking bath many times a day. Abhikshana avgaha. Avgaha means bath. Abhikshana means many times. So it is very important to take bath many times, like 3 times at least for the brahmanas and brahmacharis. You also feel when you take shower or bath, you feel so fresh. Right? So it is very important. So she started performing austerity. She was taking bath many times a day, abhikshana. She reduced her bodily requirements. She was always focusing on chanting the holy names, remembering her son, right? And in that palace, now, once again, Maitreyi describes the opulence in that palace. He says that palace was so beautiful. He's talking about the beds in that palace. The couch, they had silk. They were made of gold. The bed sheets, they were like pure white silk. Right? There were so many maid servants around her, like this. The pond, as she was go out, it was so beautiful, right? And that palace itself was called Apida. It became the crown of river Saraswati because it was on the bank of Saraswati. So it was called crown of Saraswati. So it was so beautiful. And then all the demigods and their wives, they became envious of Mother Devhuti, or they were already envious of Mother Devhuti. But still he's saying that hitva, chhod diya, hitva. She left that. She left all the attachment from that palace, right? Right. She leaving the attachment from that palace, which was even Akhandal Yoshitam, the wives of Indra, they wanted Ipsitamam api Akhandal Yoshitam. Ipsitamam means Ipsitam, which you love, which you like, which you desire. Right? Hitva yat Ipsitamam Akhandal Yoshitam. Why? For what reason she left? She's saying Putra Vishleshana Viraha, in the separation from her son, because the separation from her son. And she was, on her face, she was having a sorry figure, Kinchit Chakara Vadanam Putra Vishleshana Viraha, by the separation. This is specifically mentioned and Prabhupada clarifies. And in the very next verse, Maitreyi says, even though Gnat Tattva api, even though she had known the Tattva, knowing the Tattva also, but she was feeling separation from her son, but not in the material sense. Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in that sense, she was feeling the separation from her son. And through that process, and then it is today's verse, she was feeling separation from her sons. And then she was remembering him all the time, every time. What is today's verse? Tamev dhyayati kapilam. No, tamev dhyayati devam. Kapilam apatyam kapilam harim.
Apatyam kapilam harim.
Apatyam kapilam harim.
Apatyam kapilam harim.
Babhuva chirto vatsa.
Bhuva chirto vatsa.
Nispriha tadrishe grihe.
Nisrihata drishe vihe.
So what was happening was tamev dhyayati devam. Tam eva, by dhyan, by thinking of that Supreme Personality of Godhead all the time, who is Kapil, who is Hari, who is her son. What happened? Automatically, achirad, oh my dear Vidur, achirad, without any delay, she developed detachment from Tadrishe Grihe. That house, which was so opulent, all the wives of Indra wanted that, was called the crown of Mother Saraswati, which had so many facilities. So this is the slow process, if you realize, by doing meditation, by focusing on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how slowly, what did we say in the beginning? Visrasta moha patala. Visrasta. These things will start falling off automatically. All the desires, all the illusions, they will fall off automatically. As we start walking on this path, these things are byproduct. Instead of walking one step and thinking, focusing, oh, today have I gotten rid of this desire? Today, if this desire is still there, don't think like that. That is the point, right? Prabhuji Mataji, that is the point. If we focus on the Supreme Lord, these things are byproduct. These will fall off automatically. Yeah. So that's what Mother Devahuti was doing. Tamev dhyayati devam. Yeah. As she was thinking of that. And then further Maitreya Muni explains, as she was focusing, what she was dhyayati, what she was thinking, what she was thinking about.
Thinking about the son, the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. Tad rupam, Bhagavad rupam. Yeah. Dhyayati Bhagavad rupam yad ah dhyana gocharam. In chapter 28, how Bhagavan Kapil Dev had told Mother Devahuti the Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, how to perform Dhyan. Tad Bhagavat Rupam. Right? Right? How in the 28th chapter, Bhagavan explains Samadhi, he explains Samadhi very nicely. Yeah. Dhishnaya Nam Eka. Right? Manasa Prana Dharanam Vaikuntha Leela Vidhyanam Samadhanam Tathatman. So Samadhi is explained very nicely. You know, we spoke about those various chakras. In one of the chakras, you take your pranavayu. Hold your pranavayu in one of the chakras. Swadhishnaya Nam Ek Deshe. Swadhishnaya Nam Ek Deshe. Deshe means in one of those circles. Manasa Prana Dharanam. By controlling your mind, you focus your pranavayu. And then what you are doing? Vaikuntha Leela Vidhyanam. You are not focusing on anything else. You are thinking of Vaikuntha Leela. The Leelas that are being performed in Vaikuntha or the Leelas performed by Bhagavan Vaikuntha. You know, when Bhishma Pitama was about to leave his body, the same Bhishma Pitama, when Sri Krishna is coming on the battlefield, Bhishma Pitama is telling Bhagavan Krishna, Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam Kalevaram Ya Vadidam Hinomyaham Prasannahasa Runalochalesana Mukham Bhujam Dhyana Pathas Chaturbhujam. Hey Bhagavan Krishna, aap rukiye. You please wait here. Kalevaram yavad idam hinomyam. While I am about to leave this body. And what I want to see? Prasanna hasa runa locholose. Your smiling face. Mukhambuj, your lotus face. May come my dhyan pathas. Very important. One is I'm taking my dhyan on Krishna, but my dhyan is going everywhere. So what he's praying is, may you come in my dhyan. Because I'm not able to control my dhyan, but you come in my dhyan pathas. Jahan jahan, wherever my dhyan, whichever path my mind is taking me, you please come in that path so that I can focus on you. I am not able to focus it, but my dear Lord, you come. Wherever my mind is going, you come there so that I can focus. I can see you all the time. Please wait now. The same Bhishma Pitama, who fought with Krishna. Surdas very nicely says, that pratigya, right? Lord Krishna had taken a pratigya. And then Bhishma Pitama also took a pratigya. And then he's saying, Aaj jo hari na sastra gahaun, to la jo Ganga janani ko santanu sutna kaha. Syandana khandi maharathi khandav, kapidhauj sahit giraun, aaj jo hari na sastra gahaun. Sammukh पांडव सेना सम्मुख होई धाऊं, रुधिर सरित बहाऊं, आज जो हरि न शस्त्र गाऊं. Sarita रुधिर बहाऊं, आज न हरि न शस्त्र. That Bhishma Pitama, you see, he fought so valiantly with Bhagwan Krishna. He took that pratigya. Aaj, today, if I don't make Krishna lift a weapon, so Lajau Ganga Janani ko Santanu Sutna kaha. I am, shame on me. I should not be called Ganga Putra. Aaj jo hari na sastra gaha. Chandan Khandi. Today I will break Arjun's bow. I will break his bow, then Maharathi Khandav. Jo Maharath hai, the chariot on which Bhagwan Partha Sarthi. He is a charioteer. Maharathi Khandav. Kapidhvaj Sahit Girao. Because that chariot had Hanuman flag. Uske साथ ही आज इसको गिरा दो. Pandav Sena Sammukh hoyi dhao. I will be going and running in front of the Pandav's army. Sarita Rudhir bahao. खून की नदियां बहा दूंगा आज. There will be river of lake of blood. आज जो हरि न शस्त्र गाओ. He fought like this, but he is now meditating on it. Right? He is remembering on the deathbed. He is remembering. Vijaya Rath ko tumbat totre dhrit hayarashmini tat Shri Kshaniye Bhagavati Ratira Stume Mumursho Yami hai nirikshiye Hata Gata Swarupam. See, dhyan, this is how he's bringing his dhyan. He's lying on the bed of Ares. Now he's remembering on the battlefield. Vijaya Rath Kutumb At Totre. My dear Lord, Vijay, Arjun, who is victory personified, or who is also called Vijay because he is never defeated. Vijaya Rath, when you were charioteer for Arjun's chariot, you treat it like Kutumb. Kutumb is like a parivar. Kutumb does not mean living in a house under a roof. Kutumb means where we are there for everyone. We are supporting, we are protecting everyone with that mood. He said, my dear Lord, you considered Arjun's chariot as your own Kutumb. And you are holding the rope. Dhrit hoya Rashmini. Rashmini means those rassi, those ropes, those reins. You are controlling the chariot like that, as if protecting your own family. These are Bhagwan Partha Sarthi Leela. There was one there was one warrior on the other side. He had a boon. He performed a lot of austerity and he pleased Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva appeared. Lord Shiva said, what do you want? He said, give me a boon, give me a weapon that will never fail. Then Lord Shiva thought about it. He said, okay, I'll give you a weapon which will never fail. But if you use a weapon on someone who is not fighting, the weapon will come back and hit you. He said, okay. Duryodhana called him on the battlefield to kill Arjun. Because everybody wanted to kill Arjun. Only one aim. They had one goal. Somehow or other kill Arjun. That's it. They would tolerate anyone else on Pandava's side, but not Arjun. All the hatred was directed towards one person. And then this person came in the battlefield next day. He brought his weapon. I think it was a Gada or something. He brought that weapon and Lord Krishna is taking the chariot this side, like breaking all the traffic signals. So Lord Krishna was doing the same thing. He thinks the chariot will go this side. He was aiming to hit Arjun, but the chariot will turn this side. And like this, he got frustrated after a few hours. Or Krishna got him frustrated. Out of frustration, he threw that weapon at Krishna. And because Krishna is not fighting, the weapon came back and hit him and he died. So that's what Bhishma Pitama, he was watching. That's what Bhishma Pitama is recalling. Vijaya Rath Kutumba Atatotre. You are holding their ropes. See, he's lying on the deathbed now. Krishna is standing there. And now he's recalling what happened in the war. He's saying, my dear Lord, you are holding the reins of the chariot. And that beautiful vision of yours. Your hairs were flying. Your hairs had become brown because of the dust. Even though they are curly black hairs. Right? They would drop off sweat on your face, which were looking like pearls. Such a beautiful vision. And then he says, Bhagavati Ratirastu me mumurshu. Now that I'm about to leave my body, my dear Lord, may my mind be attracted. May I become attracted to you. May I have full attraction for you, Rati. Yamiha nirikshiya hata gata swarup. Because whoever saw that vision on the battlefield, hata gata swarup. Yamiha, whoever saw that vision of yours, they went back to their own swarups. Right? Jivara swarup, Krishnera Nityadas. They got situated in their own swarup. So my dear Lord, may you be the vision. Right? So like this, Mother Devhuti was focusing. Dhyayati tad bhagavat rupam yad aha dhyana gocharam. Became an object of the senses. Go means senses. Gochar means object of the senses. Right? Bhagavad Rupam. She was thinking of Bhagavan's roops as an object of senses. Yeah? Like this, she was meditating upon him. And as she was meditating upon the Supreme Lord like this, then she got situated in her own position. She became self-realized. Yeah. And as she became self-realized, then what happened? Tiro bhuta maya guna visheshan. Understand? As we are become situated in our constitutional position, right? Swanubhutaya. Swa-anubhutaya. Now realizing, no, I'm not this body, I'm soul. But how do you realize that? Not by saying. Please understand the process. The whole process that she has gone behind. She has heard from the Supreme Lord. She is meditating on Supreme Lord. She is meditating on the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. She has become detached from all the opulences automatically through that. Then now she is coming to a stage of Swanubhutaya, that I am not this body, I am the soul. Now she's realized. And when the moment she realized that, then Tiro Bhut, sab chala gaya, Tiro, went away. Maya Guna Visheshan. All the illusions, all the material miseries, they went away because now she realized. And when she became Nivrit, now she became free from what? Jiva. From the bodily concept. All the all the miseries which comes with the body, now she became free from that. And when she became free from that, then what she was doing? Nitya Rudha Samadhitvat. Nitya Rudha Samadhitvat. Now she is always in the trance, in the Samadhi. And what is the Samadhi definition? We heard from Bhagwan Kapila in 3.28. Vaikunt Leela Vidhyanam. Right? That is the Samadhi. Samadhi does not mean just, thinking of something. So Vaikunt Leela Vidhyanam. Nitya Rudha Samadhitvat. Right? Always in that Samadhi. When she was doing that Nitya all the time, then next stage came. And then then Maitriji is telling Vidurji, after she was doing that, then she was totally absorbed in Bhagavan Vasudev. Vasudev Dhi, Nishta Dhi, right? Vasudev Pravishta Dhi. Her Dhi, as in her intelligence, got totally absorbed into Bhagavan Vasudev. That is the first prayer when Bhishma Pitama is offering. Right? In the very first verse, when he starts offering, he says, my dear Lord, I want to give my intelligence to you. Right? Please accept is as your wife. This is my daughter, I'm giving to you. That's a different, Iti matir upkalpita vitrishna. That very first verse he's saying. So like this Mother Devhuti, she was Vasudeva Pravishtati. And when her intelligence was totally absorbed into Vasudev, now she became Daiva Guptam. Daiva Guptam. Daiva. Daiva means providence. Now she was taken care by the Prarabdha. Now, remember the verse again we discussed in 3.28. Deho pi daiva vashaga kalu karmayava. When somebody is totally absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through this process, now their bodily activities are controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satam prapancham samadhi rudha. Even though he is seeing in this prapanch of this bodily prapanch, you can see, they may look like that, but they are samadhi because they are situated in that trance, absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme Lord, right? Then all of their physical act and whatever they seem to be doing, swarambhakama samikshita. Swarambhakam, because of the prarabdha, because of their previous life activities, prarabdha, these things have to happen. But their activities are under the control of the Supreme Personality. So through this process, Mother Devhuti's activities, Daiva Guptam, totally, even though those maid servants were there, but she was totally surrendered to the Supreme Lord. And by providence, she was being controlled. Now, after this process, Maitreyi says, Achirata param atmanam brahma nirvanam bhagavatam apva. Now, what happens is by this process, my dear Vidur, achirata, without any time, without any delay, Mother Devhuti achieved perfection. Param, Atmanam, Brahma, Nirvanam, she got liberated. And she achieved the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. She achieved the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagwan Kapil Dev, he says, Bhagwan Kapil Dev went to northeast direction. He went to northeast direction, and as he went there, the ocean offered obeisances to the Bhagwan Kapil Dev, and ocean also offered a place to Bhagwan Kapil Dev that you may please come and perform your self-realization activities. Now Prabhupada says he is the one who is to be realized. He himself is now performing the activities for realization, spiritual realization, right? That's where, the Acharya says that the whole purpose of Krishna's coming is to show his own example. Yeah? Acharena. Right? Apne achari jivera dharma sikha. Mahaprabhu, apne acharan se, by his own activities, he is showing us the path of religion. So Bhagwan Kapil Dev went to northeast direction. He is still there. People say, you go to, and the place is called Ganga Sagar. Ganga Sagar, and when the Bhagirath, when Maharaj Bhagirath was trying to bring Ganges. So in their dynasty, when the horse sacrifice, the horse was stolen. Sagar, Maharaj Sagar, right? Maharaj Sagar's son, they went there. And when they went there, they saw Bhagwan Kapil sitting there. Do you know that first time? They saw Bhagwan Kapil sitting there, and Indra, what did he do? He tied the horse just near Bhagwan Kapil Dev. They thought Bhagwan Kapil Dev had stolen the horse. See, that also happened. And then Bhagwan Kapil Dev with his stage, he burnt them. They all were burnt. This is all Leela. And then Maharaj, Bhagirath, he came, and then he had to bring the Ganges to liberate those, those ancestors who died, who were burnt by offenses to Bhagwan Kapil Dev. So Bhagwan Kapil Dev is still there. The place is called Ganga Sagar. He's still there, and people who follow Sankhya Yoga, they worship him, they go there, glorify him to get inspiration from him there. Bhagwan Kapil Dev went there, Mother Devi, he achieved liberation. And then Maitreji concludes this chapter. He says to Vidur, he says, Ya idam anushranoti yo bhidhatte Kapil Muner matam atma yoga guhyam. He's saying, Vidurji, oh my dear Vidur, Ya idam anushranoti. Who hears this? Anu means again and again. Who hears this conversation between Bhagwan Kapil Dev and his mother Devhuti again and again. Yo vidhatte, or who spreads this? जो आप सब लोग कर रहे हैं, प्रचार जो कर रहे हैं, who spreads this? Yo vidhatte. What is that? Atma yoga guhyam, right? Which is the Atma ka yoga, Adhyatma yoga, self-realization, right? Who does this? Then this is called Shruti Phal. Then what happens to them? So he says, Bhagavati Kritudhi. Yeah. Suparna Ketav Kritudhi Bhagavati. Their intelligence also get absorbed in the Supreme Lord, who is identified by Garud Dhwaj, who is traveling on Bhagwan, or who is traveling on Garud, right? So they achieve liberation just by hearing this and by spreading these glories. Uplabhate Bhagavat Padaravinda. They also attain the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Lord. And in the last chapter, Bhagavan Kapil Dev, when he concluded, he also himself had said, Ya idam shranuyad amba. Oh my dear mother, who hears this with full Shraddha and faith. Ya idam shruyad amba shraddhaya purusha sakrit. Right? Who hears this pastime with full Shraddha. Yova bhidatte. And Bhagavan also says, who goes and expounds this, who goes and spreads this. What happens to them? Mat chitta. Right? Sahi eti padvim chame. Their mind gets absorbed in me and they attain me. Who hears this and who spreads this. So Bhagavan Kapil Dev has said, now Maitreji said. So this is the glory. And now this hearing can only happen in satsang. Right? Right? And satsang will only happen when you desire to have satsang. And when you desire to have satsang, then also Binu satsang vivek na hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabh na soy. Without the mercy of the Lord, it will not happen. So we have to desire. When we desire, then we get the satsang. Through the satsang, we hear these things. And when we hear these things, then we go back here again and again, again and again. And through this process, Prabhuji Mataji, the purification happens. And when the purification happens, then we become eligible to progress in this path. This is how. So this concludes chapter 33. We are almost time now. Well, I didn't get to, but yes, some of the points, I've already spoken about bhakti pravaha yogena vairagyena, with strong vairagya, strong, devotional yukta anusthana jatena. Then you engage yourself in the activities, in all the anusthans by knowledge, Brahma Hetuna for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Vishuddhena by cleared Tadatmananam Vishwato Mukham. Yeah. So like this, and this is the Falashruti. The description of the dealings of Kapil Dev and his mother is very confidential, Guhyam. And anyone who hears or reads this narration becomes a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is carried by Garuda. And he thereafter enters into the abode of the Supreme Lord to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki.
Jai.
Now we will stop here. How to minimize? Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. So Sandeep Prabhu, Lata Mataji, Harinder Prabhu, Vijay Prabhu, we will take your leave now. We will be doing Aarti. So thank you very much for your association.